What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Respect and Praise Show with yours truly, Miguel Mike Medina. And on this episode, oh man, I am so happy for this guy. He has become one of my key members of my film tribe, which I'm not the easiest person to please, but this person is so reliable. He has incredible work ethic, respectable human being. He's a director, writer, cinematographer. He loves to travel as well, but this guy, he is a phenomenal talent. He's a go-getter, and you guys will soon realize that this guy will be a force to be reckoned with in the future. And here's a small clip of one of his short films called Two Sides to the Story.
Your boyfriend, or I should say ex-boyfriend, was found with a gunshot wound to the head. When was the last time you saw him?
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Uptown's finest, Mr. CARLOS DESCHAMPS. Carlos, thank you for joining me today.
Yo, what's up, Mike? Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'm excited to be here.
I want to start this interview to talk about your podcast, Empanadas and Raisins, in which you and your friend Ariel Gonzalez are the co-hosts of the podcast. I'm just gonna throw this out there. I am not a fan of raisins inside of empanadas, but you guys touch on lots of interesting topics on your podcast. So tell the audience about your podcast, where the inspiration came from.
I am excited that you are not in Team Raisin, but this podcast was, Ari was my best friend since high school. So we've been best friends for like years, since like 2008 or later on, because we became best friends later on in high school. But the way that the name came about is that his mom always made empanadas with raisins, and honestly, they're good. They're delicious. But when we always had these thoughtful conversations, and I'm like, yo, we should do a podcast just for the people, so that people can like join us, and like I want to just hear their opinion, or that I want to just get them to be just have like thought-provoking moment of like, oh wow, they have a point, or like, wow, that's crazy, things that they don't think about, or if they do, they just don't have nobody to talk with, talk about that topic or conversation with. So yeah, we're like, let's name it after food. Empanadas and raisins, it just worked for us. So that's basically how it came about. We're coming up soon in our 12 or 50th episode. We've been out for almost a year and like 3 months. So we celebrated the 1 year anniversary, or we surpassed the 1 year, but didn't actually celebrate it. So thank you for reminding me. But we talk about a variety of topics. We talk about things that are happening in the world, controversial topics. Our first couple of episodes, our most popular one was one titled "Why Did I Quit My Job?" and a lot of people really liked it, and they felt they related to it, because a lot of people were like, I graduated in this, or I'm doing this type of job after graduation, I'm not really liking it, I don't want to quit, I'm scared. And then people were able to relate to my experience and also Ariel's experience as well. So it's just a matter of just telling our story, having people just kind of acknowledge the that we all go through the same thing. Like my cousin once said, like on Instagram, you're always posting, or on Facebook, you're posting like the good things, positive things in life, but we never talk about the bad things that many people are going through. So through this podcast, definitely, it's just like a fun thing that we get to do, and at the same time, we're helping people. I mean, I hope we are. And just also entertaining people, because we give them fun fact, we give them news of what's happening in the world. We just don't want to focus on like the negative or like life, thought-provoking stuff. We also want to give them a lot of exciting just knowledge, so that they can leave and be like, oh, I didn't know that, like, the most recent one, Mississippi is considered the poorest state in the U.S. and it has 12 billionaires. Like you would never know that. Like random things that people just know, they wouldn't know that. So we always try to educate people in different ways as well if we can. But yeah, we're going strong. I hope so. I think so. So far, we're still alive, but yeah, that's pretty much what we've been doing.
Where can we listen to the podcast?
Yeah. Of course, people can listen to us on basically all the popular platform: Apple, Spotify, Google, SoundCloud. Yeah, pretty much everything. So you can type it up. You will find us right away. There shouldn't be an issue. And yeah, I hope people who are listening to this or watching this can enjoy, and give us feedback and give us what is a controversial conversation, because we love talking about it. Like we're not scared. Like people are like, I don't want to get canceled, but we're small. I mean, if we get canceled, we're not gonna do much. But we definitely want to touch on topics that are popular, hot, or just conversation that people don't want to talk about because they just feel shy or like, it's kind of touchy. So we'll take care of it. We're here for the people.
You attended Clark University, in which you majored in screen studies. What were some of the lessons you learned while being there that helped you grow in your career today?
Yeah, so I went to Clark University. I graduated in 2016, so it's been a while. And honestly, there wasn't a lot of production, so I learned a lot of production with my friend. There was a film club that wasn't really the best. It was kind of run by the student. Obviously, every club is, but this one I feel like it didn't have the support of staff in terms of the things that we needed. So we were basically all self-taught. We had people from different background, people who had done things before coming into college, like videographing. And I have two of my great friends, Mitch and Sky, with them I was able to pretty much, we were a trio, and like we worked together on stuff and we were able to learn from each other, and then other students as well, I learned from them as well. And in terms of like in class, it was a lot of theory. So even though the production, I feel like it was self-taught, a lot of the theory, like why we do certain things, why we shoot the frame this certain way, don't just film something, like think about why you want to do this, like why is there an object. If you're filming something, like have somebody in the background walking, or like if you're having a conversation with your mom in a film, like is your mom just standing there, or you have her like washing the dishes, or you have her cleaning, or you have her on her phone, like all these things, because they were supposed to replicate real life. But then when you're filming, you don't really think about things like that, especially in the beginning stage. If you watch a lot of these movies, especially where there's a crowd, there's always people doing things and doing stuff, and every object and everything has a meaning. And I was able to pretty much not just watch a movie, I was able to break it down, know exactly what they're doing in terms of the production side, the writing portion, just everything. So it taught me the brain of film and television, not much the production, but again, I feel like that's as hard as the production, because you can learn how to work a camera, but then learning the theory and learning the ideology and all those technical stuff about what makes a film and why people enjoy it, that's really hard to get by unless you're like actually reading books. Because for those things, you gotta read books, you gotta watch movies, you gotta watch like video reviews and things like that. Is one of the most difficult things, honestly, harder than production. Personally. So yeah, that definitely taught me that. And at first I was like, I kind of was mad that I didn't get more production, but at the same time, I'm really glad of all the knowledge that I got. So no regrets, enjoyed it.
Most of your films are romance, horror/thriller. What's your favorite genre to write, and which genre do you want to create that you haven't done so yet?
Good question. Normally I like drama. I just love the relationship between characters, just like I don't want to. It sounds bad, but I like to see like the like bad moments happening in somebody's life. Not that I enjoy to see it happen to somebody in real life, but just in the film, like how people go through struggles and things like that. It just fascinates me, the human relation and how just humans operate sometimes in that realm. So I do want to say that the one genre I really want to make, which is an idea that's been there for like probably 3 4 years. It's a sci-fi, not really, yeah, like sci-fi superhero film, and that has like a theme of immigration in it. I saw this movie similar when I was in college, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't know this movie existed, and I can actually make it into a thing. So hopefully in the future I can develop it. I do want to make it more like the superhero aspect, but that kind of has that theme of what it feels like, to be like an Hispanic family, and then some common struggle that they have to go through, especially like in the Dominican community and the uptown community. It just like make it feel personal at home. But then the superhero would part I'm still trying to figure out, but essentially a superhero movie slash sci-fi-ish movie is what I want to do. Also, I love the planets, I love the universe, I like learning about anything space related. So there might be like a collaboration of like that superhero universe theme in my future film. Who knows? Hopefully, because I really need to make it. I have no excuse of why I'm not writing the script for it right now, but hopefully this will be the year. Fingers crossed.
One of your shorts, which is called Two Sides to the Story, is one of my favorites that you've created. It got into a couple of film festivals, such as the Dominican Film Festival. How was the writing process like to make this movie?
Two Sides of the Story was actually just an idea that I was writing. I think one day I was just having a writing slump, and I was like, I'm just gonna write. Not think about it, just write. So I started writing different moments, different like scenario, and I actually started with the couple being in the bench, and I was like, they're arguing, but we don't know why. And then I'm like, oh, let's add a third mystery person. This person is just walking by, and then I was like, oh, what if I made it into a film that we're seeing two scenarios? Like for no reason, I wrote the same dialogue twice, but I flipped the characters. When you watch the movie, when you watch the movie, you see that, and I was like, huh, like I like something about this, but I'm not really sure where the story is going. And I'm like, oh, with this third person, what if they were seen from this person's point of view? And at first, I was like, this person is a detective. But then the story didn't make sense. And then at the end, I made the detective actually a writer. And then you find out that it was this guy just sitting down, writing down a story. He's observing these two couples. He's just writing a story. And then he's like, now I like this idea. Let me write another one. Two sides to two different stories. And it kind of, if you think about it, it reflects me at the time when I was writing that film, because that's how literally as I was feeling. I was just writing. I'm like, I don't like it. But then when you watch the story, it does make sense, because you're like, oh, like we got a beginning, middle, and end. It was just like a short story I was writing for fun, just to kind of break the writer block that I had, and just make something, because at the time I was didn't really have much on my plate in terms of filming. So that's essentially what happened. That's essentially the writing process, just me writing, and a lot of my short stories are sporadic, and I'm just writing. Yeah, that was pretty much how it happened.
The most challenging project you ever had to direct?
The most challenging project I ever had to direct will probably be my first one. It was called what was it called? Then that's bad. I'm forgetting my first short. But essentially, it was my first short, and it was difficult because it was the first time I actually had to how I say, it was the first time I actually had to like write a script and produce everything on my own. Because I didn't know what I was doing. I had a camera, so I just had to find friends and do things like that. Aside from that, after that moment, there was a lot of things I could have done better. But then after that moment, I started to get better. And a lot of my short films, I had a lot of planning involved. Make sure I was super prepared. So I don't think I had the rest of the shorts that I did. Didn't really have any struggles, I guess, just in terms of like location, like traveling wise. But in terms of the actual the difficulty, it would definitely be the first one. And I'm just kind of, as time progressed, I just keep getting better and better at the planning of it. And essentially it comes down to planning, and anybody in the film industry will tell you that if you don't have a great planning for your film, you're gonna have a hard time. So always plan A, B, C, and D, because plan A will probably never happen, because anything bad can happen in film, even if it's like something super short.
You were the DP for my film Where Do We Go Wrong, in which you won for Best Cinematography, and you also have a nomination as well. I was super happy for you that you got honored for your work, and it was well deserved as well. How did it feel to win Best Cinematography, and was it your first?
Yeah. It was exciting. It was actually, be honest, yeah, it was my first time winning an award for cinematography. Just yeah, it was exciting because I love to play. I just love the camera. I love to play with the camera. So being able to get acknowledged for a work that I did with a camera, it was like, okay, I'm doing something right. I'm not doing everything I'm doing is not wrong. So I know I have room for improvement, but no, at least I know I'm going in the right direction. So I was super humbled and honored. And again, thank you so much for having me in your project, because I wouldn't have got that if it wasn't for you giving me that call of like, hey, I want you in my team. So I really appreciate it. And yeah, this is the first of many. And the more like I said, the more project I work on, the more I'm noticing like I can change this, I can change that. Let's try to play with this angle, play with this camera lens a little bit, and so I can better off my cinematography skills. But yeah, no, definitely waiting to win more.
It's game time with Miguel Mike Medina. So in this game, you just gotta pick one or the other. Are you ready, champ?
I'm ready. Let's go. Let's go.
Black Panther or Endgame?
Ooh, Black Panther. I love Endgame, but Black Panther has my heart. I love the character. I love the story. I love the soundtrack. I just loved everything about it. So even though R.I.P. Tony Stark, but Black Panther, and R.I.P. Boseman, that he did a great job, and yeah, no question about it. Black Panther.
Stan Lee or Walt Disney?
Ooh, Stan Lee. He's my guy. Again, I love superhero. Walt Disney did create a lot of stuff. And fun fact, I used to work for Disney, but yeah, Stan Lee, nobody can be my guy.
Movie theaters or online streaming service?
So this one is a funny one. I used to be a fan of online streaming like Netflix and things like that. And I remember I went to see The Eternals by myself. And the Eternal movie, was watching a movie theater, sorry, and the experience was like, wow, man, it's been a while since I've been in a movie theater, and this is like so enjoyable that you're sitting there without distraction, you can just focus. It just felt surreal and awesome. So movie theater hands down, even though we don't want to pay for an expensive ticket, but it's definitely worth it. So movie theater.
In the Heights, the movie, or Hamilton?
I love Hamilton, but In the Heights is the reason why I love Hamilton and Lin-Manuel. So In the Heights.
How about this one? Distances or Two Sides to the Story?
I love Distance. It could have been better, honestly, and that's on me. That's not on the actor. The actor did a phenomenal job. But Two Sides of the Story have a better developmental story, I believe, and also like the quality of the film as well.
JetBlue or Delta?
I'm a JetBlue guy. I even got the credit card, and yeah, no question about it. JetBlue all day.
You are a person that loves to travel a lot. What's the most fantastic destination you've ever experienced?
The best destination I ever experienced was probably when I went with my now fiance to Italy back in 2017. It was our first trip together abroad, and I just loved Italy. I was always a fan. I played the video game Assassin's Creed, and the game was so much fun. And I just love history as well. Aside from science, I love history. So just being there and getting to just live the kind of like the historical sense and just see all these historical buildings was like so amazing for me. I would say Florence was my favorite city, hands down. And then I would say Venice was my second. That was definitely my favorite one. Because of COVID, I didn't go to Japan, but I was supposed to go to Japan. So hopefully soon I will go. But Japan is like my next big trip that I want to do. And I just love like the Japanese culture. I'm just in love with it, and just like the nature of it and a lot of the architecture and stuff like that. It's just super fascinating to me. So hopefully next year, who knows? But yeah, hands down, Florence, Italy is my number one place. Probably, hopefully, it will be my retirement home.
Tell us about Uptown Photo Walk.
Yeah, so Uptown Photo Walk was started off by my friend Emmanuel Beru. He actually is a co-founder for the Word Up bookstore on 165th in Amsterdam. And essentially he did like 4 years ago, he did one, and I hit him up being like, hey, I missed it, can I join you? And he only did one, he wasn't gonna do another one. He was like, hey, do you want to help me plan one? And I'm like, sure. I mean, why not? And then after that, we got, I think the first time we got like at least 11, 12 people, like random strangers from the neighborhood who just wanted to walk around and take photos. We went to the Bronx, we crossed the High Bridge, crossed over, and we walked a lot. And the route got kind of messy for being our first time, so we ended up learning from that moment. But essentially, we walk around the neighborhood. We go to Inwood, we go to Harlem, we go to the Bronx. The route is different every time. We try to hit location. We can also spot the George Washington Bridge, and we can take photos from there. We've done night photography in the rain, in the snow. We literally have done it. Actually, in the snow, maybe. I think we did. If I'm lying, I might be lying, but I want to say it was probably snowing, or there was already snow on the floor. But anyways, yeah. So it's just a casual group setting in which we invite everybody of all class, of all in terms of photography skills. Like they don't have to be like pros or amateur. We invite everybody, and they just learn from each other. They don't have to have a camera. They can have their phone as well. And we just walk for about 3 hours, and we just take a tour of Uptown, taking photos of the people, location, like different locations, landmarks, just anything we see, honestly. So it's fun because every route is different, and every picture, like every moment is different. So like you will never get the same experience every time. So we have people returning every time. We normally do it once a month, on a Sunday. We have done special edition one where we had female only, led by our the third person, Jennifer, that she moved to the Dominican Republic when she was running those in the summer. And yeah, so we have a lot of things that are coming up for this year, but it is a growing thing. A lot of people are learning about it, and again, for Manuel and I, this was something that was just for fun, and I'm glad that it's picking up and people are enjoying it, because there's a lot of people who said, "Hey, I have a camera, I never used this, so how can I use it? Can you guys help me?" Push me out there. And there were people like I've been shooting for like 20 years. People have been shooting for 3 months. So it's just awesome. And meeting new people is also great, especially in Uptown. We have also had people come from like Queens as well, and Brooklyn. So exciting stuff. But yeah, that's how we started off. And we're going to keep doing this for as long as we see fit. And it's totally free. Nobody has to pay. So I guess that's the best part. It's just the way of us contributing to the community.
This show is about giving people their flowers while they're still here, as well as to help promote people that don't have a massive following on social media. So Carlos, I salute you, bro. I'm happy for you. Keep doing what you're doing. And thank you so much for joining me today.
Nah, thank you, man, for doing this. This is awesome, and we definitely have a lot of artists up here in Washington Heights, and just even like in the Bronx and Inwood and other places nearby that they do amazing work. So it's super exciting to see them, just learn about them, especially for people who haven't never heard about them before. We have a lot of talent, and I seen it with my own eyes, and it just in terms of the social media world, we don't really see them because a lot of them are not really into social media, or they're just too focused in the work that they don't bother with that. So this is a great thing you're doing, and no, definitely you too. You're another one. You're another big artist and who's been busy winning awards. I see you, and definitely you're one of the pioneers of our generation. So no, salute to you, my guy, and thank you so much for having me. My Instagram is Cinematic Heights. You can find me there. Follow me, I'll follow you back. And if you want to work with me or have questions regarding filmmaking or etc., let me know. Because that's why I'm here. Honestly, you ask me for help, I'm gonna help you out. So we're all here for that.
I appreciate you, man. And as for the rest of you, here's more of CARLOS DESCHAMPS.
There's your boy, homeboy Ariel Gonzalez.
And this is Carlos Deschamps, and you listening to
Empanada sin raisins.
a somewhat entertaining talk without the raisins, because why? Nobody loves raisins.
People actually like them, but
They
I
don't like
digress.
them.
Well, that does it for this episode of the Respect and Praise Show. And always remember, have mutual respect, mutual admiration, and mutual love, because that's how we're going to go in life. So stay tuned for the next episode.